Welcome back, familia, to NorthsideLDN, caramba. And today we've got, is Chelsea still in the top four race this season? Before we get into all of that, big up to my guy, Lewis. What are you telling me, Lewis?
Yo, I'm chill. Apologies for the lateness, guys. This is literally on me. I just woke up 10 minutes ago. So, yeah, my bad, people. I forgot to set my alarm. But we're here. We're here. Big up to everybody. Northside, it's a blessing to be on as well. And yeah, let's chop this up the Chelsea.
Nah, big up, man. Big up, my G. Big up to everyone that's locked in. The link to Lewis's channel is in the title. Make sure you're subbing. Make sure you're subscribing, doing all that good stuff. Let's get straight into it, bro. Because, I mean, Chelsea this season, you cooked against West Ham. You've had a couple of good results. One or two, a little bit less convincing, but to a degree, I would say it's to be expected with a new manager and a young squad. He has brought some identity, which is something that you called out Poch for. He has shown a level of consistency, which is something you called out Poch for as well. You didn't get the result you wanted, the ideal result against Liverpool. But how do you look at that game? And are you still behind this manager? Is there things that you take away from that game? How do you see Liverpool 2, Chelsea 1 on the weekend?
It's mad, but like I only see one negative coming out in that game, and it's that Robert Sanchez, for as much as he's improved, he's still got too many errors for me to like really believe in him. And like, if we're gonna progress, I need better than him up at the back. Everything else, though, you can't really take anything other than positives out of that game. Like, we did really well in the midfield against a really good defensive side in Liverpool. We still managed to progress the ball well and get the ball into the final third. It was just their setup meant it was impossible for us to create consistent chances past that. And it came down to moments. Came down to like a debatable penalty decision only because they didn't give it the other end. And just us falling asleep for the second goal, which is, like, again, one of the few things that I'm annoyed about. We equalize, we lose our head. We give away a very simple goal to stop because, like, we've opened up a massive gap for Curtis Jones to run into. And Robert Sanchez is, again, he ain't even waking up for the goal either. But other than that, like, there's a lot of positives. Like, Lavia, sensational. Caicedo, sensational. Nicholas Jackson, with limited service, still managed to get himself involved in the game and managed to get a really good goal that he would have probably missed a couple of months ago. Just disappointing to lose. I'll never be the sort of person to say that I'm happy in spite of the loss or anything. Like, I'm not happy. People see my reaction at full time. I was raging, but I was raging just because we left with nothing, which to me is still an improvement on where I was last season. Before, I'd be annoyed even with victories because I'd be looking at it thinking, how have we scammed this? Or this is terrible and we've just got through off the back of the opposition being toothless. Like Fulham, like Crystal Palace, like Man United when we came back at home against them. This time, like, we make a good showing for ourselves, win, lose, or draw. I don't come out of any game except maybe Bournemouth where we won, thinking that we weren't really good enough, for example. But yeah. Like, from the Liverpool game, no real negatives to take from that. Just not happy that we didn't leave with something. It would have been nice to at least leave with a draw. But even then, it's Anfield, in it, so you can't be too annoyed.
I hear that. Bro, I said this to Hassam. He said when I was on a show with LB and he asked me my prediction about the game, I said it'd be interesting to see both managers. Both managers are new to the league. Obviously, Chelsea have got a young team. Liverpool should be the team to win because they've got players like Trent, Van Dijk, Mo Salah that have been there, done that. So with that extra, I think that extra experience that they've got in their team edged it for them. I think you guys started the game off really, really well. I think the first 20 odd minutes, they couldn't get the ball off of you guys. You guys were controlling the game. I think ultimately mistakes from Sanchez and Coble's what really cost you. And I think those are areas where you can strengthen because I don't think Sanchez is the goalkeeper that is commanded enough in his box, if I be completely honest. He doesn't close his man down, doesn't make himself big. He just doesn't claim, you know what I mean? You want a goalkeeper that comes out of his line and comes off his line and commands the ball. Do you know what I mean? You don't want someone flapping at it or being a bit nervous.
The thing is, he can do it. He's just not consistent. And that's where the problem is. Like, it's not even just this game. Look at the Brighton first goal, for example. Like, he comes out to claim a drop ball that he doesn't need to, and he's trying to cover so much ground. He doesn't get there, and he basically leaves the goal exposed, and they score off that. So to me, it's just a decision-making thing. There's always a silly mistake in him, be it a silly pass or a silly cross-claiming situation or something like that. He's always capable of a bozo moment. And I always say the further back you go, the less you can account for someone who's got those sorts of issues in their game, especially in goal. You make a mistake 9 times out of 10, it leads to a goal. And he made about 4 terrible passes in that match. And then the goal mistake as well for the second one. So yeah, like I just, the faith's gone. The faith's gone again. I can respect that he's improved, but like number 2, he should be a number 2 and go get someone else that can be a number 1.
I hear that, man. Cowell, what's your thoughts on Cowell? Because I felt like he actually got away with it before he even gave away a penalty. I thought he was scrappy. He looked erratic.
What do you think the push on Salah?
Yeah, but it looked like, when I saw it, it looked like he almost went to knee him. I just felt like he was erratic. Like he was giving the referee like decisions to make. And we already know the referees aren't great. Don't give them stupid decisions. And when you're just kicking everybody all over the place or being erratic, and you know what I'm saying, it's like you're going to give away a penalty defending like that. Like positionally, he was out of place. And then he was just scrapping, kicking everywhere. I just felt like he was absolutely terrible. No composure from him at all. And I think there's only so much, like Caicedo and Lavia, you guys look a lot better defensively with Caicedo and Lavia in that midfield, but there's only so much that they can cover up for. They can't cover up for a goalkeeper behaving like that or Cowell being all over the place, in my opinion. And I don't really get the hype with this guy because I haven't seen it from him in a consistent basis. What do you make of Cowell?
See, Cowell's improved a lot more for me, but I can agree as well that he made too many mistakes in that sort of game. And the word you said about what was it? Don't give the referee decisions to make. Like that was his biggest problem in the last match. The only thing I'll say is it was just a Liverpool game. He's not the sort of player where I'm thinking, okay, we have to drop him. He's not good enough for where we want to be. I just think the composure needs to get a little bit better with him. Because in spite of that, I still think everything else in his game was good against Liverpool. It was just there was too many erratic moments, way too many. And I guess that's where the lack of experience still comes into play a little bit more. But it's not like last season. And even last season, he was being played at left back all the way through. And that was going to impact him because he ain't a left back. This time, it's like you've had one iffy game. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, it wasn't the best performance from him because his decision-making could have been a little bit better in our box. But the passing was still good. He had a bit more of an aerial threat when he was away from the box. There was some decent tackles as well and some decent blocks. It was just too erratic at times, and it eventually led to a penalty.
I hear that. I think Lavia was it was unfortunate Lavia came off because I actually thought he was balling out in the first half. I think he played really well. And what I like about Lavia is even when he receives the ball, doesn't matter if he's got people pressing him, doesn't matter the situation, he'll break out and you actually transition with the ball and start your counter attack, but also defend and help Caicedo out, shielding that back line, which does need a bit of help as a defensive unit. I think Lavia is an absolute baller, bro. I think he played excellently. I think Caicedo played really well. I just think Lavia is just a little bit better with advancing with the ball from what I see from him. But both of them are top players. Cole Palmer was a big disappointment. I rate Cole Palmer. I think he's an absolute baller, but he was so quiet. And I could see why Madueke was getting frustrated with him because it was like, Madueke is open. Palmer just passing the ball.
You saw the second half one, innit? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, just passing the ball. Like nobody's around him. And the thing is, Cole Palmer's normally like chilled, calm, collected in the final third and makes the right decision. Obviously, he's a player. He's still a young player. There's going to be some games where he makes mistakes, but he could have made a much bigger impact against Liverpool. I felt like he wasn't really influencing the game. People spoke about Sancho. I don't think it was a game for Sancho because I think the game just went past him. I think Trent did really well against Sancho, but Sancho's game isn't really taken on the fullback. He likes to bring in Cole Palmer into the game, play 1-2s, and then get in behind. I just don't think it was his game. But I think
they managed to just isolate Palmer, which isn't an excuse either, because when he did get the ball, he wasn't good enough. Like sloppy touches, there was some bad passing as well. That was probably his worst game for Chelsea. But it's a bit of both, because when the likes of Sancho and Noni were in possession, they basically boxed him in with like 4 players surrounding him. So he weren't even an available option for either of them, which minimizes both of their options too, which is why they're easier to mark by the fullbacks. So ultimately, that's why I came out of that game with so much more respect for Slot and the way he sets up Liverpool. Because he set up Liverpool just to neutralize all of our attacking forwards. And it worked perfectly. Palmer completely thrown out of the game, and his head was taken out of the match as well. Noni didn't really get the best of Robertson. And then Sancho either had Trent or he had Trent and Gravenberch to deal with at the same time. And both of them were a problem. When it was the pair of them, he's getting clamped by one. When it's Trent's just slowing him down and he's minimizing his options. Maybe he gets the pass into Gusto, but Gusto, like, he's not that comfortable on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side. So he's not going to be able to be good at making the decisive factor. Even then, I will say he had some moments of good build-up play. Gusto was good for building the play up from the left-hand side. That was just it. He didn't really help with any overlapping or underlapping support and kind of isolated Sancho a little bit too. So maybe Cucurella would have been a little bit better for us in this game, but suspended, so we kind of had to just deal with it. I think it worked out for us well on a build-up play perspective. That was it. Final third, as soon as we get there, Liverpool just had everybody boxed out.
I hear that, man. I think Jackson made some good runs. Obviously, he scored. He scored a good goal, to be fair. It was a good finish. But he made those runs before, but wasn't receiving the ball early enough. At times, he just wasn't receiving. And I've seen an improvement in Jackson. I can't lie. I didn't rate him at all. I'll be honest with you, bro. I didn't rate him at all. But you know what?
I blame you last season.
But this manager is actually making him effective. And I think he was making good runs. I think he scored a good goal. I think overall, you guys, you did have good moments. I felt a little bit sorry for Pedro Neto, because I felt like at the end, he was kind of like trying to create things out of nothing. Like he was running into Liverpool's box and didn't really have anyone around him. It just seemed like as a collective, you guys, towards the end of the game, it was only Pedro Neto that was trying to like take the game by the scruff of the neck. I didn't think he was getting much support up front, but you had chances to get back into the game last minute, like like extra time. Like Vega had a header that went wide. You had Nkunku that almost tapped it in far post. I think overall, how do you're the Chelsea fan. Enzo Fernandez, last thing I'll say, I'll let you go. Enzo Fernandez, when he came in, I just feel like games like this is where Enzo Fernandez doesn't thrive. Like when he's got space and time on the ball and he doesn't get pressed or he's not being hit and there's loads of runners in the midfield, Enzo can actually play. But every single time he needs to be pressed into making decisions, I don't see him playing that well. I just feel like the Premier League for Enzo is just too fast paced. I don't see him as effective. For example, up against West Ham, Enzo had time on the ball, he had space, he played well when I saw him come on. So it's like when I see him playing in a match like that, Enzo can play. A game like Liverpool, which they're not out and out attacking, but they're trying to hit you on the counter, I don't see Enzo as effective. After this game, how do you see Chelsea? Like, is this a manager that you're happy with, you're content with? You think you can build on the performances you've seen so far this season?
Definitely build on it. Like you saw how much I despised the football last season. Like I used to dread match days. I'm no longer in that position, which to me is already a positive. For me, like Enzo was fine. It was just we didn't necessarily need him compared to Lavia and Caicedo at the time. It's just because Lavia's still in a position where he can only play 60 minutes a game. So we had to take him off by that point. I don't mind that. If he can only play 60 minutes every game, play him 60 minutes every game. Enzo just needs to be utilized a little bit more deeper. And like, maybe it's just me, but I didn't really figure out what the setup idea was by the time we got to the end of the game. Maybe I need to rewatch the second half a little bit better. But I saw Enzo picking up the ball in areas further forward, which I've always been a little bit concerned about. Not as concerned as last season, Because last season, we weren't even trying to maximize his touches on the ball. We were telling him to play high up and press the goalkeeper. And he ain't that sort of player. So I'm confident in where we are as a team. Enzo kind of concerns me as a player. And Nkunku, I'm a little bit worried in terms of I don't know what our idea is in terms of using him. Because I feel like we just throw him on in whatever position that we want to throw him on, pause. But we'll play him right wing one game. We'll play him centrally the next. We'll play him on the left the next. And I just don't feel comfortable with him playing in wider areas. We brought him on to play left wing. Like, you could have either hooked Palmer off and you would have been fully within your rights to do that with the performance and then put him centrally. You could have put Noni, you could have taken Noni off, put Palmer on the right and put Nkunku centrally. Instead, we moved Neto from the left to the right and then we put Nkunku on the left instead. And I get Neto's going to be more comfortable on his right foot, but he was still doing well on his left side. We didn't need to change it. But we decided to do that so we could put Nkunku on the left, and we didn't need to do that. Like, Nkunku isn't comfortable on the wings. But I've heard Maresca say before that he thinks Nkunku could play anywhere in the front three. Which, look, I ain't going to talk him down on that. I just need to see it first. I haven't seen it. I've seen us play him on the left against City and against Liverpool, and both times he didn't look effective. We brought him on against, was it Crystal Palace, I think, to play on the right, and that wasn't effective, and that was again too late. And that's been my overarching thing with Nkunku in the league games. We always put him on too late. We put him on way too late. So is he this jack of all trades player that you think can play anywhere? Or what's the plan? What's the plan? Because I get Jackson and Palmer are going to play in the central areas, and that's why he can't get into the team. I'm fine with that. But you can bring him on a bit earlier. You can bring him on with 20, 25 minutes left. Like, bringing Sancho off for Neto was perfect. You did that at the right time. Half time, get him off. He's not getting involved in the game. You could have brought on Nkunku earlier. And I feel like this is the second, third time I'm saying that now. So it's becoming a pattern. That's been my only real question mark of Maresca, but nothing else.
No, I hear that, man. I hear that. I think you guys have got the basis of a good team. I think your manager's getting you lot playing really, really well. Some people that are thinking that your team was going to get thrashed, I told them you guys are playing well. A little bit of naivety. You know, if you go out and I don't know if you're going to address it in January, but I feel like if you go out there and sort out, you know, strengthen your defense. I don't know about Reece James. I mean, what's his fitness like? You know what I mean? Like, what's
First
going on?
start back, isn't it?
What's that?
It was his first start back. I think that was his first start in 11 months. Yeah, that's why he had to come off too.
Okay. Has his injuries been like the reoccurring of the same injury, or has it been different injuries?
I think it's been different injuries and like also a bit of suspensions. Like, he came back against Brighton and instantly got a red card, which was his second red card. So he was out for 4 games, which is why he missed the start of this season too. But apparently he's been fit to start for a few weeks now. We just haven't rushed him back because we're not going to rush him back for the likes of Nottingham Forest and all of that. You save him for the run that we're going on now. So stroke of genius for me. I was a little bit concerned with us throwing him straight into Anfield because that could have worked out a lot worse for us. But I actually think he had a pretty good game. Like, he was very lucky that a lot of the play was on the right-hand side because they were just spamming it to Salah every opportunity they got. But when they did play down the left, he handled his job well. The passing was good too. Yeah, he's partly to blame for the second goal. But for his first start in 11 months, did well. So, like, I'm glad to see him back. Genuinely just glad to see him back because now I can properly assess him. Because I've said with everyone who's been a little bit shaky about how long it's taken for him to return, I don't care until he starts. When he starts, you're telling me he's 100% fit, or at least fit enough to be regularly involved in games for us. Now I'm going to look at him. Because if he gets another major injury, might be it. It might be it. And like then I won't be able to argue it down anymore. I've been ignoring it for this long because all I've said is just wait for him to be back. There's no point being annoyed that he's not back yet. Fine. We're doing load management to death for a reason. And for the first time in 3 years, we have no injuries. So it's working. Like we're not expending these players at all. We have 2 teams, a Conference League team and a Premier League team. Fine. I have no issues with that. Just let's hope it works for Reece. Because I need to see this guy have a full season. Because I haven't. I literally haven't. Every year he's got rushed back. Every year he's been injured again. So for the first time in years, we are not rushing him. Well, no complaints. I've got no reason to complain.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough because if you rush him back and he gets injured, everyone's going to say, "Oh, why did we rush him back?" So I get that. I get that. If you're
every manager's done it. Lampard, Tuchel, Poch, Potter. Every manager has rushed Reece James back at least once and has been culpable for him getting another injury. This is the first manager that we've had that has gone completely the opposite. He's seen that he's fit and he still said, "You've got another 3 weeks and then I'm looking at you." Even with Gusto playing like garbage this season, respectfully, he's not been on job. But even in spite of that, no, you'll wait till Anfield and then I'll play you. So I rate it. Fitness first. For the first time in ages, it's fitness first because we got the Club World Cup after this. And I've been saying for like the last month or two, people aren't looking at how big of a problem that could be for us. We go straight from the end of the season to the Club World Cup. If we win the Club World Cup, that means we've been playing that till mid-July. Then the players need their holiday, which I don't know where I don't know when or where they're going to get that. And then we have to go into pre-season and a league season. We don't have enough time for all of that. So something's going to give. Are these players going to get holiday before the Club World Cup and have no sharpness for the whole tournament? Or are they going to go do the Club World Cup and the start of next season is in the bin? Because I always go back to the 15-16 season. Everyone asks why that season was such a mess for us. No one talks about how we ended the season as league champions and then went straight to a postseason tour for no reason. We just did a random tour of Japan. So because of that, Mourinho had us late to preseason. And because of that, we placed teams that were already further ahead of us in preseason. We never won a match in 90 minutes. All of our wins were on penalties. We started the season terribly. Never recovered. And then obviously sacked Eva Canero. Mourinho lost the players a little bit. It was a mess. But it all started from the post-season tour. Now we're in a position where we're going to do a Club World Cup immediately after the league season. Where do the players get their break? And then after that, what happens to us for our preseason? Pep Guardiola already asked the Premier League to postpone the first 2 league games for Man City. No. Immediately, no. So the Premier ain't going to help us. So I don't know what we're doing. The best thing we can do is load management. The best thing we can do is 2 separate teams to at least try and mitigate any injuries or any circumstances of that happening. But other than that, it's still going to be a problem for us next season. So, like, if they want to be slow with players, be slow with players. I've got no problem. We basically have 2 seasons back to back.
What do you make of this comment? Players are threatened to quit Club World Cup, top players. What do you make of that?
Look, I want to win the Club World Cup, but if any of the players say they don't want to do that tournament and they want to go on holiday and prepare for next season instead, fine. Because the Premier League aren't giving us any opportunity to do both. And ultimately, they need their holiday. I think it's a legal requirement that they need their 3 weeks. So this is the problem with the Club World Cup tournament. And it's a shame because I like the format. I think it does a really good job of bringing other clubs around the world and like raising their profile a little bit and giving them more of a stage to show their footballing ability. You get to see the clubs like Palmeiras, for example, clubs like MLS teams and teams from the Asian Champions League and everything like that. And I get the idea behind it. A World Cup with the country format for club teams. It's a great idea. But you need to mitigate the circumstances for other clubs. Certain clubs are leaving their season mid-season to go and do the Club World Cup. Other teams like us are going straight from one season to the other just based off this format. Something has to give. I just don't know what it's going to be. Maybe players just boycott it. Maybe clubs boycott it. Maybe clubs go straight in and then the players' fitness is going to be what gives and the next season is a mess. I don't know, but something's not been planned correctly.
Yeah, too many interruptions, man. Too many interruptions, even with this international break as well. It's a load of rubbish, bro. Like, I just don't understand, like, all these interruptions and stop, start, and all of this, bro. To a degree, I get the managers, bro, like, when they complain about that, because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous at the end of the day.
All they complain is about more fixtures, and all they do is just add more fixtures. It's silly.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke. And just as you're picking up momentum and stuff like that, and then it stops and chop and start and all of this type of stuff. Obviously, the managers care about the clubs, innit? Because obviously that's their job, innit? That's what their job's on the line for the club, innit?
I saw in the comments saying majority of the teams in the competition are fine with it. Yeah, probably because their leagues are accommodating them. Probably that's the case. Like, because there'll be certain clubs that they're mid-season they gotta go do the Club World Cup it used to be the norm for the European clubs, and then they'd have a fixture postponed or two because they're competing in that tournament. Do that for us. Postpone our first two league fixtures or something like that. Then it would work. But that's not the case. That's not happening for us. So again, something's going to have to give. For the other teams, they're probably being afforded that opportunity. So, yeah.
I hear it, man. I hear it. As a Chelsea fan, I'm always interested to see if an opponent can be fair in his analysis of a Chelsea game. And you, Northside, are one of the few that are, so you deserve a follow for that. Bro, do you know what? I'm not trying to... Look, when I talk about the rivals, yeah, listen, I'd love to banter the rivals, yeah? And sometimes, yeah, there's time for banter. There is time for banter. And it goes both ways. I can banter, people can banter me. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, bro, like, when I talk about the rivals, I just talk about what I see. If Chelsea fans disagree with me, fair, they disagree with me. But I don't have an agenda. At the end of the day, I just call it out as I see it. I think start of the season, I said, you guys are playing really, really well. I was impressed with your performance against West Ham. Your performance against Liverpool wasn't perfect. But I said, you guys need to improve in your defense. I don't really rate any of your centre-backs. I know Lewis probably likes Cowell more than me. You watch him more than me, but from what I've seen of him, I'm not fully convinced. I think Gusto's a decent fullback. I think I rate Reece James, but he's been out for a long time. He needs to get back to fitness. Sanchez, I don't rate, because Sanchez reminds me of the crap that we had at Arsenal. Goalkeepers that are flapping on it. Ramsdale used to be the same, flapping at it. Do you know what I mean? And that is why we went to go get Raya, because Raya is more commanding. Raya calms the defense down. He doesn't put us into panic. Sanchez puts you guys into panic mode at times. And yes, it might not be all the time. Ramsdale was like that. It wasn't every game, but there was always important games where he'd be making stupid mistakes. And you need your goalkeeper to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like, Alisson's been consistent for Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Edison's been consistent for Liverpool. Like, these men have been consistent. You can't have a goalkeeper that's inconsistent. You cannot have a centre-back that is going to do erratic stupidness like this. This is the crap that Arsenal had for years, which was part of the reason within the last 20 years, up until we got Gabriel and Saliba, why we didn't win the league. You can't have your defense having rocky moments like that. You know what I mean? I've seen you lot have Terry. I've seen you lot have Cahill and all these other defenders. They were consistent performers. You know what I mean? When you lot had Peter Cech, you had a calming back line. You had a defense that was chilled, like it was solid, and it didn't have erratic stuff that I saw against Liverpool. I think you need an upgrade. But when you look at your midfield, you've got talent. Lavia and Caicedo, I'll take them both at Arsenal. Palmer, I'll take him at Arsenal. Do you know what I'm saying? Madueke, I'm not a massive fan, but your manager's getting a tune out of him. I don't rate him that highly. Sancho, I actually think is a good player. He's effective in certain games. It is what it is. Jackson has shown me that he's actually a decent striker, not a gunman, not anyone I wouldn't necessarily take him at Arsenal because we need a gunman, but he's a decent striker. He's a striker that can run the channels. He's a striker that can, do you know what I mean? Can be involved in the build-up and make good runs and get into the box. And it seems like the system's getting more out of Jackson, more than I thought you could get out of him. Pedro Neto, I'd take him at Arsenal. I wanted him to go to Arsenal. So you guys have got talent that I like. You guys got players that I like. I think the way that your managers implemented his style of play, you know what I mean? It's shown that unlike the narrative at my club that you need years and years and all your players, your manager's shown some sort of, you know, when Maresca came in, from my perspective, you guys had no identity as a team. Like I didn't know what to expect from you lot. And he's built some level of consistency, but there's things that need to be improved. Of course, there's things that need to be improved. I think the way that you lot are playing though shows that the players seem on board. When I saw that was when he made substitutions against West Ham and the players coming off of the bench were playing exactly the same way the players coming off. You know what I mean? Like the players coming on from the bench look like they're in tune and understand what the manager wants. That means everybody's on side. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, it's going to get to a point. This is the first year. It's going to get to a point where we're going to have conversations further down the line. Are Chelsea, you know, ready to win major honors? And then he will be critiqued. But at the moment, I think he's playing well. I did want to ask you, Lewis, João Felix. I think he could have came on against Liverpool. Why didn't he come on for Cole Palmer? You know, Cole Palmer was dropping his stinker, like you rightly said. The way he was performing in that game warranted him being subbed off. João Felix could have came on and affected the game. I think João Felix is shown. I think he's been decent so far this season. I've seen some good stuff from João Felix with playing Maresca ball.
Now you mention it, he could have come on, but I'll be so real. When he has played, I don't think he's been great for us this season. Like, yeah, against Barrow, I thought he did well. But again, it's Barrow, in it. I can't say too much about that one. You expect a good performance. When he does come off the bench, he does seem a little bit lost. I'll be real. Like he's trying to do a bit too much, and he doesn't really seem in sync with the rest of the Chelsea team. And like, I still think he's a good player and everything. He does show moments of good individual quality. It's just I haven't seen enough with him. Like the decision making hasn't been great. The final end product hasn't been great from him. He just seems a bit techie. Like that's what I've really got from him when he's been playing for us. And like I think, yeah, maybe he could have come on a bit earlier for Cole Palmer and probably had a different impact. It would have been the perfect opportunity for him to like do something because he hasn't really done anything for us off the bench. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot from him this season to like really gas me up. It's not been like the first time when he was at Chelsea. And even then, like the bar was so low in terms of our forward line. I've never seen it so low for a Chelsea side. That literally all he had to do the last time he joined us was have a good first touch and beat a player. And then he got the whole away end going off. So, yeah, now it's a little bit more. Now I'm asking for a bit more from him. He hasn't been great for us so far this season, but I ain't writing him off. He probably would have been a good addition for us now you mention it, but I don't know. I don't know why we didn't. Because my bigger gripe was just why did we play Nkunku centrally? You could have had Nkunku center or João Felix center and I would have been fine with it. Or hell, both of them. And then you drop Enzo further back instead. They all would have been good options. Instead, we played Nkunku on the left, which is kind of my problem.
I hear it, man. Before we move on to Arsenal, you guys have got Newcastle. How do you feel about that game?
We got to show that it was just a blip losing. And we got a great opportunity to do that. Like, Newcastle aren't in great form. Their forward line isn't looking good. Quietly, our home form hasn't been good either. But that hasn't been anything to, like, really worry me. I think we've just been unlucky for the most part. Had to face Man City at home in the first match day. You already know what that's going to be. Palace was such an unfortunate result. Like, that should have been 2 or 3-0, but the goalkeeper was doing worldies. And then that was our first time we dealt with a low block. We didn't really handle it that well. Then we play Forest, who frustrated us, but we actually broke them down a good number of times. There was some bad misses. Like, Felix had a great header that he didn't even put on target. Nkunku had a good header that forced a worldie save. And then we forced about another 3 good saves from their goalkeeper too. So that game was just another frustrating one. I don't really find myself worried coming out of that game, but ultimately, we gotta win. We gotta try and win some more home games. We've only beaten Brighton, and Brighton just played suicide ball against us. These man played a high line and just tried pressing our players. We played our way through that for fun. So Newcastle should be the opportunity to get our second home win, and I think we will as well. I'm not worried about that game at all. It's just go do it. Go do it and prove that it's just a blip, and then we can go to Old Trafford and hopefully end that's our lack of winning over there as well. I didn't word that one correctly, but it's been like 11 years without a win at Old Trafford. So like we need to end that. We need to end that. If it doesn't end this season, then there's some serious questions that need to be asked.
No, I hear that, man. I hear that. I want to get your thoughts on Arsenal. Obviously, we lost to Bournemouth. And yeah, apparently some people think that you have to be talking crap online to get views. I got very good views on my match reaction when I lost it, and rightfully so, because I was angry with the performance. Let's not forget.
That's why I'm saying that. If I'm going over the top of my thumbnails and titles, bro, that's how YouTube works. You know how you said your job as an engineer, right? I'm sure there's certain things that you do as a job and your engineer stuff, right? That's specific to your job. To maximize my job, because this is my full-time job, you go a little bit over the top in titles and thumbnails. It's a very common game. Go watch any side of YouTube. That's how it works, bro. I'm not here sitting saying titles and thumbnails. It's a very common game. Go watch any side of YouTube. That's how it works, bro. I'm not here sitting saying, oh, if I was to title my videos in a boring paragraph, it wouldn't get the numbers I get and it wouldn't be my job anymore, right? So you obviously do that type of stuff. And everyone knows that, by the way, as well. And you know that.
Okay, I didn't need to do clickbait to get views. Man gets views talking the real, you know what I'm saying? But don't remember what these fraudsters said, yeah? I have to clickbait and go over the top to get my views. But anyway, had to throw that one in because yeah, that was a bit of a.
You did say that was going to be on every video, so I hear it.
Oh, it's a poor start. See, I'm sorry about that, Babs. Your turn now.
Oh no.
Someone slipped there. Oh, the mask is slipping, my friend. The mask is slipping for these fraudsters. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, you know what I'm saying? As we continue, you know what I mean? Yeah, I kept it real. I kept it real. Don't need to clickbait. Don't need to do all of that. I'm a fan. I say what's in the best interest.
What was your Bournemouth title, by the way?
My Bournemouth title, I can't even remember. The dark arts work both ways, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Smart.
Yeah.
All right, that.
Yeah. The dark art. I didn't even think it was dark arts, bro. They cooked us. They cooked us, bro. You know what I'm saying? I can't even lie. They cooked us, bro. But yeah, as I was saying, let me get your thoughts before I get my thoughts. Let me get your thoughts on that Bournemouth game.
Even 11v11, you guys look very disappointing. And I think you guys set up as what you're. I don't get it. Like, you man really set up to defend against Bournemouth or to be defensively minded against Bournemouth because that midfield had zero creativity in it. And then you look at the front three of what was it? Yeah, shout out to Hooks. Sterling, Martinelli, and Havertz. I don't know what you lot were expecting from that game. Because, like, was it just try and hope for a set piece and maybe Rice can get a decent delivery in? I don't know. But that wasn't set up for you lot to do well in general. It was just hope the forward line has something for you. And if your hopes and dreams are on Raheem Sterling, then God help you. Because that guy is the definition. He's like English weather. Like, sometimes rain, sometimes sun, sometimes snow, sometimes cloudy. But you'll get all of that in one day. And that's what you get with Sterling. You'll get some good moments. You'll get some bad moments. You ultimately won't get enough and you'll be annoyed because you can't predict it. So I don't get why that was the idea for you guys. And Party Rice Moreno, dreadful. But then you guys go down to 10 men and it kind of helps you a little bit more because you have to be a bit more defensively minded at that point. But that should have been your aim. Your aim should have been to attack. Your aim should have been to at least try and create chances, but you didn't have anybody on the pitch that could do that consistently. So you ultimately were just digging your own grave. And then, like, it's funny that you guys eventually conceded to a set piece after all of that. But yeah, you guys never really looked like winning to me in the first place. 11v11, it was an absolute snooze fest. Like, it was a bit more cagier, but that's not a good thing. Neither team really had that level of control. Bournemouth were making chances, you were making a couple of chances or progressing the ball a little bit, and that was it. And then you guys go to 10 men, and it's just a matter of time. So, like, for you guys, really, really disappointing. And the last thing you lot need with Liverpool around the corner, because now you got no Saliba, and you're probably going to play the same midfield and probably the same attack. I doubt you see Wanyeri starting against Liverpool. He like Arteta didn't even want to bring him on until you were 2-0 down and the game was done. So I don't see him starting. You guys are going to do the same lineup without Saliba. And it's not going to be enough for you guys. So, yeah, like, really, really disappointing from your perspective, I guess. But you're kind of used to this. You were expecting this anyway, just not this early.
Do you know what, Lewis, yeah? You hear all the excuses from this fan base, all the reasons why we're going to win the league. All these excuses, yeah? Where was the goals? Where were the goals from all these? Where was the dark arts against Bournemouth? Where was the goals from set pieces? Where's
Dark
Kai
arts
Havertz?
got you the red.
Where was Kai Havertz, bro?
Bro, I saw him more focused on trying to, like, he was more focused on other players than actually trying to take the ball down. That's what I noticed with him.
It's crazy, bro. At the end of the day, we've got one midfielder out, Lewis. One midfielder out, and we can't have a balance in this midfield. 3 DMs. It's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. And people want to talk about the red card. We were getting cooked before the red card. Lewis. I'll be real. We're gonna get cooked against Liverpool. We're gonna get cooked. The bench, when you look at the bench plate, Sterling making no impact. No surprise there. This is exactly
honestly, I don't even think you get cooked against Liverpool, but I think you lose. Because I think they'll go into that game and play a bit more defensively minded themselves too. So it will be one of them, like, 1 or 2 goal games or something. I really don't think you lot will, like, hold a serious battering or something. But you ultimately will come short because I think Liverpool will go into that with a better team.
Did you see how bad we played against Shakhtar, bro?
Yes.
Bro. Oh
yes.
My days, bro. Oh,
bro. Like, I started in the second half. I started putting that in the background and focusing on the Real Madrid comeback. But you lot were a terrible watch. And the fact it was 1-0 and it came down to an own goal at home against Shakhtar Donetsk is next level embarrassing.
Bro, this is the thing, Lewis, yeah? There's so many things wrong. It's unbelievable. Like, last year, you remember when we was crossing the ball into Havertz in the box and he'd score one or 2 headers, or would cross it into Rice and he'd score 1 or 2 headers. We don't even have that anymore. We're playing Jesus on the wing. He can't cross a ball. He's not a winger. He's not even really a striker.
Crash. He was your worst player yesterday, by the way. Every time he got the ball, he was losing it. Every single time.
The fact that we're playing Trossard again in the 10 and we tried with Mikel Moreno just shows you the lack of preparation we've had in addressing having competition for Odegaard, which is something I called for. It's a joke, bro. It's a joke. Like, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know anymore, bro. Like,
no, I completely understand, bro. You were calling this shit out from the start. Hell, to be honest, like me as well. I looked at the way you guys addressed the transfer window and I thought, yeah, don't talk to me about Arsenal winning anything. Man, I'm talking title charge, major honours and everything. Yeah, because your team has to at this point. You guys have underachieved for so long and been allowed to get away with it because, oh, this time we took it to the last day and everything. Like, no, you lot have been garbage. Really and truly, you lot have been garbage. So, like, I get it from your perspective, but a lot of us, we've already seen this coming. We knew you guys were going to get injuries because you got away with it too much last season. maybe just not this early, but
See,
fail
this is
to
what-
prepare,
this is what I
prepare to
hate.
fail.
This is what I hate. We started last season the same. Let's not be reactionary, man. Them. Okay, let me tell you something that's not reactionary. When we got rid of Aubameyang, I told you we need to go get a clinical goal scorer. We didn't.
Yeah.
When I told you, that we needed proper competition for Saka, nobody mentioned before we were linked to Sterling that Sterling's the answer. And bear in mind, a Chelsea team that are trying to build themselves up to be title contenders and win major honours again, deemed him not good enough, while their manager said that they can work with Madueke and Mudryk and got rid of this guy.
Sam, we will fight if you lie on my name again, you fraud. We will fight. I will get a flight to Jordan immediately, bruv. Disgrace. Sorry, Northside.
Nah, it's calm, bro. Like, when we went into the summer, everybody knew we needed a striker. We needed a striker from even before we got Havertz. We knew with Jesus, he was a decent backup. We needed a gunman. Let's not rewrite history. I've been saying this. We needed a striker. We needed a bench that can affect the game. Yeah. And we didn't go out there and done that. I said, what happens if Odegaard gets injured? Oh, we got good rotation. Ethan is the next Bellingham. He's going to break. He ain't breaking out of nothing, bro. He ain't breaking out of nothing. He ain't breaking out of that R. Kelly closet, bro. He's trapped in the closet. He ain't breaking out of nothing. This guy's not going to get minutes. Since Bolton, we ain't seen this guy. Don't justify me, Ethan. And he's 17 years old. He shouldn't be the second choice. We never got a gunman up front. We never got somebody that can actually rival Saka, which is why now Saka's out. You feel his loss within these games because we don't have him. We don't have a deep line playmaker, which is why we're playing 3 DMs in midfield. Yeah, Jorginho has not brought the winning mentality. We did need some defensive additions, but we didn't need as many as we got because we needed more midfielders and attackers. And now you can see it. Now you can see it. We don't transition with the ball properly. How many chances did we have against Shakhtar? Jesus missing a bunch of goals, a bunch of opportunities. Martinelli has been falling off since last season, but this guy is getting shoehorned into the team because we've got Odegaard out. I've been calling all of this. So listen, I don't know if you just found my channel, but I've been calling this back. You can go back and watch or just look at the titles that I've been putting up. I've been saying that the bench has not been good enough. We didn't go out there and address the weakest aspect of our team. Don't tell me about our defense. We had a great defense last season, didn't get over the line. I told you, Gabriel ain't going to score from every set piece. I told you, Calafiori is not going to slap in goals like he did against Man City every game. I told you, Havertz is not a striker that you can count on. That's not his best attribute. I told you that at the end of the day...
They really said Havertz would be a striker that could take you to a league title. Do you know how crazy that is?
I don't get it, bro. I don't get it.
It's
but man, try to
ridiculous.
talk like I'm being reaction. Bro, go check my content if you're new. I don't know if you're new because I ain't seen you before. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I've been calling this out. And what's going on is it's catching up to us. The fact that we haven't got a fixed bench. And on top of it, this manager, there is no excuse. You man wanted him to have time and build up his new squad and everything else. He's got that now. How can you build a squad for 5 years, closing in on £1 billion, and you have one midfielder out and everything? We can't create properly. We can't build out from the back and we can't finish after all that money. Come on, you cannot tell me now it's a toxic squad. The excuses you gave me for year 1, you can't use now for year 5. This ain't good enough. And once again, everything that we've been saying is going to catch up to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it's a joke thing. It's an absolute joke thing.
This is the thing, though. There'll be another excuse if you guys don't do the job this year. This time they can blame the injuries. This time it'll be, but if we had a full squad, we would have been able to properly challenge and compete. No, this is what happens. You get injuries and you should be able to deal with the rest of your squad. Because that injury excuse could easily be accurate for Man City if they don't win the league. But Rodri got injured. That's why we didn't win the league. But even then,
but that goes away from their narrative.
They need extra 6 steps.
But Lewis, that goes away from their narrative. If we've got injuries, surely then the fixed bench should be able to cover. Because if you either, that's what a fixed bench is. A fixed bench is you've got certain players out, you can use them because they're good enough. They're on the level. So then that just debunks their whole argument, Lewis. If the bench is fixed, we should have adequate cover to be able to do a job. They say players can do it. That's what they always say. Oh, we want Sterling, he can do a job. Then do a job then. Otherwise, you're showing that you're lying through your teeth that the bench is fixed because when we got injuries, then you...
But there it is. There it is. Lying through their teeth, you got the answer.
You can't ever...
Also, you can see, man in the chat said Chelsea will never see another silverware. I'm winning a trophy this season. Are you? I'm winning a trophy this season.
Bro, you can't tell me that the bench is fixed and they got all this chat, when we don't have injuries. As soon as we have to rely on them, the bench, but we got injuries. No. But let's rely on the players you preach to me are going to get us over the line. You preach to me that Zinchenko is pivotal to the way that we play football. Yeah, you didn't want to hear it when I was telling you this guy cannot defend. When we got Jesus, man wanted to talk to me about heat maps, field tilts, you know what I mean? XG, everything he does off the ball. You man told me Jorginho's bringing the winning mentality. You man told me that Miko Moreno's going to unlock Martinelli. Unlock Martinelli, bro. That guy looks like a mini-me version of Edu, bro. That's what he looks like, bro. He's an Edu part 2. He's an Edu clone. What has that guy done? So you can't gas all these players and say Sterling was a great addition. Now we're relying on them. Nah, but you know what? We ain't got our star players out.
So Sterling runs into too many players. Oh, I wonder who could have told you that. Sterling needs to release the ball more. Oh, I wonder who could have told you that. Sterling sounds so Sterling. But they're like, oh, no, it's another one that we saved from Chelsea. I remember seeing man like AFTV talking about how they've saved another player from Chelsea. And thank you, Chelsea, and everything. You guys got 2/3 of the attack that took Chelsea to 12th. 12th. And now you're starting them. And you think that's going to be what takes you to a league title? Sterling and Havertz. Are you kidding me? I've watched them both play at my club at the same time. At the same time. This is the attack that took Chelsea from 3rd to 12th. 3rd to 12th. And this is what they're praying. This is what they're getting gassed about now. Like, did you guys want to just take Mudryk and just complete the trilogy at this point? I mean, he was at the Emirates yesterday. You can keep him. Shout out to Mudryk, but I mean, you can keep him if you guys want. Like, it's stupid. It's stupid. You man were dying for a goal scoring forward all summer, and you brought in Sterling. Sterling, you man are praying for Leverkusen Havertz and City Sterling. Like, what? Are you going to sign Mount next to complete the trilogy and pray that it's Chelsea Mount? It's ridiculous. But the maddest thing is, like, I've always said, there isn't a better place to find copium than at the Emirates. There isn't a better place. Like, them man inhale that shit every single match day. And they pretend that what they're seeing is good enough. It's not good enough. If it was good enough, you would have won something. You haven't won anything. You get close and then you fumble. Same thing as before. And then they don't build on your squad. And if it goes on for another year or two, you're going to start losing key players. They're going to keep looking. Madrid's going to keep looking at Saliba. Saka eventually will give up and go somewhere else. Odegaard, he'll probably go somewhere else if you guys don't win anything major. And then what? Then what? You've gone right back to where you were in 2011 and 2012 with Arsenal, losing your key players.
It's crazy, bro. It's absolutely crazy. Like, these man, someone saying, oh, Havertz hasn't even started 5 games, bro. He started almost every game. He's like missed 1 game, bro.
Yeah, like what?
He's missed 1 game. What are you chatting about? The narrative was, oh, when I started saying, when you actually look at Havertz's numbers last season, like Mateta outscored him. Ollie Watkins scored him. Jackson outscored him. This is in the league. Bare strikers outscored him. Solanke outscored him, And then they were saying to me, oh, yeah, but Northside, wait until this season is going to be playing as a striker. Bro, he's been playing as a striker every game he's featured. Where's the goals, bro? Where are the goals? Where's the goals when we needed you to score against Brighton? Where's the goals when we need you to score against Atlanta? Where's the goals when we need you to score against Bournemouth? Where was the goals against Shakhtar Donetsk, bro? Because you had chances. Why didn't you score? Bro, the excuses, these man always find a nice copium, bro. I'm telling you, it's actually ridiculous. Just actually look at what you're seeing, bro, because you cannot fake it. You cannot deny reality.
It's a fan mentality now. I think a lot of people have noticed it with Arsenal. All you got to do is give them an excuse.
It's crazy. It's absolutely
give them an
crazy.
Excuse, they'll take it and run. And then they'll just go off the belief that next year will be their year. Because honestly, Arsenal have been doing that for 20 years. 20 years just believing and hoping. Comes to a point where he needs to start holding the club accountable again. You guys have got so close to winning a trophy, and then your idea of pushing you across the line was Declan Rice and Kai Havertz. Like, what? Declan Rice, I've been consistent about since 2020. I don't want him. I never wanted him at Chelsea because he was overrated as hell. I was happy with us spending that money on Caicedo because Caicedo can play numerous midfield positions and he's multi-talented in his role. He has a brilliant final pass on him. He is press resistant. He has got the defensive awareness. He's good at tackling. He's good at ball carrying. Declan Rice is good at ball carrying. He's good at the defensive side. Has nothing on the offensive side except maybe a header. So I was happy with us spending that money on Caicedo, not on Rice, for a reason. But you man spent that on Rice. Then the attacker, Tony, Osimhen, Havertz. You man went and got Kai Havertz. It's ridiculous.
It's a joke.
And like Arsenal fans genuinely only believe in Havertz because they have been screwed over by Chelsea in so many transfer negotiations that they think that this is their one-up. Or it's the closest thing that they have to their get-back. And it's not. It's not. Like, this guy doesn't look any better than when he left Chelsea. He looks a bit more physical, but that's about it. Other than that, it's the same damn player. But because you got screwed over with Petr Cech, and I don't even think you did. I think he's still the best goalkeeper that you've had in the Emirates era. Because you got screwed over with Willian. Who else? David Luiz as well, even though he was decent for you in the cup run. You guys are trying to act like Havertz is your get-back. No, in reality, your get-back was Jorginho. Because that was the wrong time to sell him, and he's actually decent debt for you guys. That's it. Havertz ain't your get-back. He ain't taking you to no league title. He ain't taking you to no Champions League. And before I see idiots in the chat say that RB took us to a Champions League, no, he didn't. We took him to a Champions League. We had the best defense to win a UCL since 1994. 4 goals conceded. We were behind in the entire tournament for 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Like a minute or two against Porto, a minute or two against Krasnodar, and that was it. That was it. So we won in spite of him. When people say, oh, no one's dominated Real Madrid the way Manchester City did when they won the UCL. No, we did. We did it in lockdown. The same way that Man City did. You know what the difference is? Kai Havertz. We had Havertz up top. And he had to go miss 5 chances like he always does. And that is the reason why Havertz didn't carry us to nothing. We carried him to the trophy. Even the goal that he scored in the final, he couldn't do it himself. He had to have Ederson in his dead touch slow the ball down for him because his touch was sending it out for a goal kick. We won in spite of Werner. We won in spite of Havertz. And then you lot went and bought him unwarranted for 65 million when he drove us to 12th. So, yeah, thank you to Arsenal for that one, but he ain't taking you lot anywhere. And you lot can hold that. But, yeah. Shout out to the rest of the chat because you lot get the energy. And shout out to the one mutant. I hope Havertz signs a 5-year contract. Yeah, Daniel, you see why I didn't say Mount? As much as I don't like Mount, he did his thing in the tournament. I ain't going to try to take that away from him. At least Mount turned up. Havertz didn't. Werner didn't. They got carried. Mount did his thing.
I hear it. And this is why I always enjoy having football talks with Lewis, man. I swear down. We just get to the point. No messing around. Northside, is Calafiori actually better than Zinchenko? They're both trash. They both can't defend. Do you know what I'm saying? So they're both rubbish.
Yeah,
bro. Calafiori
looked shaky yesterday too.
Days. You saw him trying to play it out from the back.
Yep. Against Shakhtar Donetsk, and he was struggling.
It's a joke, Lewis, man. It's an absolute joke. We replaced one inverted left back for another inverted left back as if it worked the first time.
Yeah, like me and Flawless were joking about it before Shameless yesterday. We were talking about how Arsenal's system is just defenders and centre backs cosplaying as centre midfielders and inverted centre backs and overlapping centre backs and touchline centre backs. That's all that you man are doing. Centre back FC. And just pray you get a set piece and win off height because Arteta's turning into a height queen. Like one of them girls who's like, I'm not dating a man that's shorter than 6 foot. That's Arteta. If he ain't 6 foot, he ain't interested. And like I get it's good from a set piece perspective. You need some creativity and open play with that. And your only consistent ones are now out injured. So God knows, I don't know what's gonna happen with you, lot, innit?
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Let me get your thoughts. Make sure, family, as well. I have to repeat. Epa, vocês estão a brincar comigo, né? Make sure you're smashing the like button. More importantly, make sure you're subscribing to Lewis. Yeah, the link to his channel is in the title. Don't be a filho da puta. Don't be a marica. Don't be a viado da merda your whole life. Don't be one of these Arteta only fans, inbreds that are from flipping the hills have eyes. Yeah, make sure you're subscribing.
I also man them in the chat. Late notice, but I'm gonna go live after this and do a career mode. So keep a lookout for that as well, guys.
There you go. Quickly, what's your thought? What's your prediction for Arsenal Liverpool at the weekend?
Oh, you lot are losing, but I don't think you lot are getting bad. I think it'll be like a 1-0, maybe 2-1 thing, maybe 2-0 at the worst for you lot. But it's only going to be one or the other. It's only going to be like, I don't think you lot are going to get battered. I just think you guys aren't going to create anything. It'll probably be a bit of a dead game, to be honest. You guys will be defensively minded. I'd assume Liverpool would be defensively minded as well. And I think it will just come down to like moments of magic from their attack. Like we're doing Salah versus Zinchenko now. It's going to be a long day for him. Because like I saw what the man was on against Gusto. And yeah, nuts. I think it's going to be the same sort of energy for you guys. And I think Salah's going to be the difference ultimately between both teams.
I can't lie. We don't have Saliba. You already know that the bench is all messed up. He probably will force Saka back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. The way he treats him like he's King Kunta. I don't know. He'll probably like inject him up and he'll be available. But
was he just out for last weekend or was it a couple weeks?
This is the thing, Lewis. Yeah, he's being very vague with it. He's been vague with Odegaard. He's been vague with him. He's been vague with Tomiyasu. He's been vague about all the injuries, bro. He hasn't. I'm telling you, bro. And
that
then he
sounds like it's worse than what he's making it out to be.
Exactly. So he already said that Havertz has been playing with a knock, but they've been monitoring it, bro. It's been looking peak right now for him. I can't lie.
You know that'll probably be advantage Arsenal. I'll be so real.
I think we lose, bro. I think we lose at least 2-0. Yeah, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be angry. Yeah, I want my club to win, but I just don't have any faith. All good. I don't have any faith, bro. Like the way we're playing, the bench is ineffective. This manager, like I'm telling you, bro. Like there's nothing to this team right now. Like we're just playing so trash. We can't even impose ourselves against Shakhtar Donetsk. I'm sorry, bro. This ain't good enough. This ain't good enough, and I think we're gonna get cooked, bro. And it's the fact that Saliba's out. Some people are saying Ben White as a centre back, bro. We're definitely getting cooked. Ben White did not make.
You just gotta hope Nunes is having one of his days, and he's just missing hella chances because he's gonna get service. And also Diaz is gonna play, isn't it? Yeah. You know what? It's 2-0. It will be a 2-0 thing. Wait, yeah. Because he only didn't play against us because he had international duty. Fuck. Yeah, you lot are gonna get packed. 2-0. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say 1-0. It'll be a 2-0 thing. I still don't think you lot are gonna like hold serious smoke. Like it will only be like a 2-goal margin for me. But now I'm 100% assured of it. Now I think 2-0. Because I just remembered like Diaz didn't start against us. That's why I was thinking, maybe Diaz is off form. No, he came off the bench. And McAllister. Yo, yeah, because we kind of got a week in Liverpool last week. Oh, boy. Yeah, you're not facing the same Liverpool we did. Oh
Thank you,
shit!
sir.
Then.
Couldn't care less what you think, but you're still here. Why not just leave?
Yeah, no, I just left him so he can enjoy the fucking life lesson, innit? You man are getting cooked this weekend.
This I'm telling you, bro. Like we got Liverpool next. I don't think we're gonna win. I think we lose
Definitely
2-0.
not.
Preston obviously will win that. Newcastle,
You
I
better.
reckon we'll beat Newcastle, yeah, but it won't be convincing because they've been absolutely trash. I'm expecting you.
Is that home or away?
Let me check. Hold on. It's away. St. James's.
Yeah. You know what? I might be inclined to say draw.
May even be a draw. Like, I'm not even gonna argue that, bro. Trust me, I can't.
So you've got 3 aways in the week then, because it's Newcastle, Inter, and then us.
Yep. Inter, we're not winning that. We're losing that. Against you lot, we continue the way that we're doing, we're losing that. I've got no faith right now. I didn't have faith even with all the players available that we're going to win the league anyway. It's just how we're going to lose the league. And I think I'm telling you, this next couple of weeks, bro, we're not going to be in this title race. We're not going to be in this title race. If anyone thinks I'm being negative, you tell me, yeah, how is this manager going to cope? Because Odegaard will only be back around January. I'm telling you, early January, he'll be back. So we're going to have to play all these fixtures without Odegaard. He's either playing Moreno in the 10, that's a DM, or he's playing Trossard in the 10, that's ineffective. He weren't even effective against Shakhtar as a 10. He's not creative. That's not his position. Then you're looking at our attack. Right now, everybody's hit. Bro, Martinelli's missing chances. He got a lucky deflection that he scored against Shakhtar. He's been rubbish, missing opportunities. Jesus, we already know about Jesus, missed a bunch of opportunities against Shakhtar. Sterling's a bum. Who else is going to score? We're not even putting Declan Rice in positions to score. Or we're not breaking teams down well. Calafiori's injured, so we're going to see if he's going to be back. Bro, it's going to be long. It's going to be long, bro. You know what I mean? I'm telling you.
Like, what's your fixtures like after the international break? Does it get a little bit easier after that?
After you guys, we got Nottingham Forest, Sporting Lisbon, West Ham, Man United.
Sporting Lisbon?
Yeah. That's not going
to be raw. You guys might be doing the UCL playoffs, so that's going to be more fixtures. Are you top 8 right now?
Bro, I ain't even checked. I'll be real with you, bro. That's how disinterested I am. I don't even know.
I completely understand. Because you man been going through it.
I think North has been a little negative. Arsenal can play like crap, but they have moments of magic to win. Where was those moments of magic? Yeah, at the crunch end of the season, bro. Regardless of injuries, you tell me the moments of magic.
Game.
Where's the moments of magic when we need it to get over the line to actually win something? You can't name me one because there aren't, bro. Like, let's just be real, bro. Like, the thing is, I didn't expect.
Yeah, because like that's something you'd hear from like a top 4, top 6 contending team. Play like crap, but have moments of magic that can get you through in certain games. Now you want to control matches. You want to be able to implement your style of play, not just get by. So even then, like that's not the right mindset that you want to have.
Let's see how long we can sustain it, because we had this kind of nonsense last year and we didn't get over the line. I don't know how people keep believing in something that hasn't worked. This manager's approached 2 seasons, 2 of our title challenging seasons, yeah, in 2 different ways. 2 years ago, we were playing really good attacking football. We didn't get over the line. Season before, great defense. We were a lot more defensively minded at first, and then we tried to nick a 1-0, 2-0, made sure we didn't make any mistakes at the back. We didn't win the league. We didn't add the players to be able to play like this. Jose Mourinho played football like this, knowing that he's got Drogba, knowing that he's got players that are clutch like Benzema, Ronaldo, Bale, all these players, bro, that will come up clutch. He did not play with false nines that their best attributes are not scoring goals. Simeone has had great strikers. Aguero. Do you know what I'm saying? He's won stuff with Suarez up front. Bro, come on. You have to have clinical goal scorers up front if you're going to play football like this. You can't have a bunch of team that nobody knows how to back chances with limited chances created in the game. It doesn't work. This manager has not set us up to win football matches playing the way that we play. It will catch up to us. And this is why we've dropped points earlier than I expected. But this is exactly what I expected to happen this season. Like, I don't understand how hard it is to understand this, bro. You can't play this style of football without a gunman. And don't tell me Saka, because at the end of every season, Saka, yeah, comes up short. And not only that, you tell me, yeah, his game management against Shakhtar is the same reflection of his game, against Bournemouth, is the same game management against last season against Aston Villa, West Ham in the cup where we got knocked out, West Ham, Liverpool in the cup where we got knocked out, Fulham game that we lost, the Porto game that we took to penalties because we couldn't beat them in 90 minutes, the Bayern Munich game that we couldn't beat, which is the worst Bayern Munich team we've ever seen. Like, this manager as an actual tactician is actually trash. He'll come to a game with a plan. If that plan A don't work, this guy just makes like-for-like subs, or he makes substitutions that make no sense. You tried to make Zinchenko into a left back when that's not his strongest attributes. You tried to play Jesus on the wing when that's not his strongest attribute. You tried to put Miko Moreno on the 10 when that's not his strongest attribute. Like, you're trying to shoehorn players into positions that don't make sense. You're trying to do things that don't make sense. How can you set up a midfield of 3 DMs? You have no ball carrier. You have no creative midfielder. And you think that you're going to win the game? You think you're going to transition the ball well? What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? There is a reason why you need a deep line playmaker. There's a reason why you need a number 10. There's a reason why you need players of these positions with those attributes. You can't just play 3 DMs. If you're going to do defensive, you might as well play 3 at the back. Just play 3 at the back and then show us, okay, do you know what? I'm going all out defensive. Do it with chest. But this guy's a pussy. And that's why he does it like this. Like, trying to make it seem like we're trying to play football, that a 4-3-3. You ain't trying to play football. Just play 3 at the back, bro.
Either way, the way you lot try to play the ball forward, it ain't effective enough. Because you haven't got the right options for it, or you're just playing hoofball to Havertz and hope he can take it down and find someone. But then even then, when you do that, you ain't got the options to make runs in behind. Because Martinelli ain't good enough. Saka's more of a creative player instead. So you'd have him creating for Havertz, and Havertz ain't good enough in front of goal. Ultimately, it's been bad signings.
Like, you don't need luck. If you prepare, you don't need luck, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? If you prepare, you don't need luck. Why are we relying on luck? Injuries are part of the game. Fatigue is part of the game. Players being out of form is part of the game. You plan to be able to address that. That is.
Do you remember last season, City had hella injuries. They still went and won the league. This season, Rodri out, they probably will still win the league. And then what will be the excuse?
I don't get it, Lewis, man.
Like, ultimately, it's not good enough. That's what it comes down to. Just not good enough.
Listen, bro. Listen. Love for jumping on. Let the people know where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, I'm literally going to go live straight after this. Going to run a career mode. Because I thought I was going to do a watch along, but I thought, you know what? I just want to chill and watch the game in the evening myself. So, yeah, I'm a run a career mode. It's Chelsea v Arsenal. So I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. And yeah, big up.
There you go, man. Carefree Lewis, the link is in the title. Big up to Lewis. Big up, love for jumping through.
Oh, shit. Apparently, Bukayo might be back for the Liverpool game, apparently.
He's not fit. He's forcing him back.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
But you know what? I don't want the excuses. Let him play, yeah? Because I don't want the excuses, Lewis. Because you know what it is? If we lose, then it'll be, but we didn't have Saka. I don't want to hear it, bro. Let him play then. If this manager wants to, if he gets another injury, then we'll see. Let him play. I don't want any excuses, bro. This season, he either wins the league or the Champions League, or I want him sacked. I don't want to hear no excuses anymore. So excuses are ran out, bro.
Facts. Like, even if he wins the domestics, get rid of him.
Yeah.
For me, it's like if he wins the domestics, there's your farewell. You leave with a trophy. Bye-bye. That's the way it should be. They try and use that as a reason to keep him. God bless you. God help you, bro.
There you go, man. Big up to everyone locked in. Big up to everyone supporting the thing. And big up to Lewis. Make sure you're smashing the likes up. But more importantly, make sure you're subscribing to Carefree Lewis. Link is in the title. Love Lewis for
just check private chat. If you are, no stress.
Yeah, I think he.
Oh yeah, no worries.
No, but it's calm. It's
Yeah,
calm,
no,
bro.
all good. Yeah, you man. Everybody head over to Dan Potts. Man's about to go live, and yeah, hopefully we smash Arsenal, God willing. I
Big
gotta
up.
take this thing off fucking legendary because I got packed at Old Trafford last time.
No, I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. Listen, I'm close to getting sacked.
Oh fuck! What's the Karimo been saying for you?
Bro, I'm down at like 17th at one point.
You did better than me last season. Last season, I was rock bottom at Christmas with 1 win. I myself was Lewis out, and they still weren't sacking me.
At
So
least I
I
put
get it.
myself out though. I said, yo, if I don't do something, if I don't change, I need to get sacked.
I was like, I'll just end the series. You man ain't sacking me. I'll walk away for the good of my club. Because this ain't it, man.
You're
I'm
gonna
getting
do a
dominated
Conte,
by
yeah?
Sheffield United like Pochettino. Now get me out of it, bruv.
Would you do a Conte? Would you do a press conference and then just bounce?
Yep. Just lower the rest of the morale and dip. I'm gone. Sorry, guys. I'll go manage Bolton or something.
I hear it, bro. Big up, man. Love for jumping on. Familia, redirected to Dan Potts, Northside raid on the way in. We're out. Love, love, love.
Love.